Hello, everybody. My name is Dennis.
I'm Andrew.
We are known as the Crafty Lumberjacks. Thank you for joining us today. Shout out to Michaels, of course, and shout out to Fiskars for having us. We always love jumping on here and crafting with you all. It's officially summer, and we're getting ready for summer today. We're going to be creating these really adorable, colorful, and easy braided yarn coasters. Very cute.
I love to add no-sew as well.
Oh, yes, no-sew. You can do
I'm not a sewer.
Leia as well.
Oh, my gosh.
We're already
thinking Halloween costumes. We're already, these are so versatile. You can use them all year round.
And I'll be on the chat if you want to let us know where you're watching from. We're coming to you live from Astoria, Queens, New York, just 15 minutes away from Times Square, the center of the universe.
And if you have been to one of our classes before, you know that at the end of this class, we are going to be doing a giveaway. So you're going to want to stay on and watch because this giveaway is only for people who are watching live right now.
Yes. Also, we do these classes every month. Our next class, we're going to be making this adorable little vintage summer camp wilderness, what would you call it? Frame piece of artwork. It's all made out of felt. We're going to be teaching how to create the pattern, the design, also using an old school freezer technique to kind of create our image here. That's going to be really fun. That is on Monday, June 24th. Sorry, July 24th. I'm still.
Oh, I was like,
I'm still catching up here.
I know, me too. I was also going to say, if you are crafting along with us today, let us know. And if you have any questions throughout, we have Dennis on the chat, so he will make sure that all these questions are answered.
Yes, it looks like we have some more people in the waiting room as well. Someone said, shout out to Andrew from Weelockian from Massachusetts.
Yes.
In the house, welcome.
Hello, hello. I was also going to say, if you are crafting, I see some kids on. If you're crafting with kids and you want to craft along with us, instead of braiding, you could always twist. All you have to do is twist the yarn instead of braiding the yarn. You could do that as well. So there's options on how to do this. But
yes, another hello from Chickpea, Mass.
Oh my God.
MA, yes, yeah, chickpea. I had chickpeas for lunch. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna get started. We're gonna start with a braided technique. Really easy here. We found this really fun, colorful yarn at Michaels, of course. They have a wide variety of different colors, styles, patterns, thicknesses, wool, acrylic, all types of different yarn. You know, we always say use what you have or just use what you're gravitated towards or, what matches your aesthetic.
So the way you want to start with this is you want to have 3 long pieces of yarn. And can I show my technique?
Sure.
He's
got the long arm.
I have a technique. So I just like to, I don't really like to measure that much. I like to do it just by arm length. So I'm going to just take out my arms, stretch it. And I like to do it twice. Let's see, 1, and then I'll do it again. 2. Dennis took off the little, the thing from the yarn. Every time I do that, it all unravels, but Dennis somehow always keeps it together. So you have to do it how you do it, right? Okay.
We have Northampton in the house, North Glen, just North Glen. I almost said North Glendale, but North Glen, Colorado.
I'm going to be using our Fiskars Lilac scissors for these. These are so beautiful. If you were in our last class, you would have seen them. I love these, but of course, Fiskars are the best.
Yes, and these are going to be part of our giveaway today.
They are going to be part of our giveaway. So I have 1 long piece. I'm folding it in half, and then I'm going to just do that 2 more times to give us 3 pieces of yarn. So.
Yeah, because essentially we're going to be doubling up our braiding. So we want 2 pieces for each 1 piece.
And if you have a nice, thick, chunky yarn, you don't need to do that. But this yarn, we loved the color of this yarn, but the thickness was a little bit too thin. So we thought, why not just double it to make it a little thicker? So here's 2, and then we need just 1 more.
Northern Indiana in the house. Loving the colorful yarn. Yeah, same.
All right, so I have my 3 pieces here. And then what I want to do is I just want to make sure that they're all roughly the same size. So I have 1 here on a loop. I'm just going to repeat that. So take my other piece. I just like to hook it right onto my finger. There we go.
And when you're cutting your yarn, you want to kind of weigh on the side of it being longer than shorter, because that's what's really going to help you kind of create like a nice even pattern on your coaster is kind of the length of the yarn. It's easier to kind of cut off than add more. So if
Absolutely.
you, as you're kind of cutting your yarn, just think longer rather than shorter.
Yes. Okay. So I have all my pieces. They're all in different lengths. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim so they're all the same size. Now, like Dennis said, it's always better to err on the side of caution with having more. So this is probably more than we will actually need, but you don't want to have to start
You
over.
sure that looks kind of short?
I think it's going to be pretty good.
Okay, perfect.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top and I have it looped right here. And I'm just going to tie a knot just like around my finger, just like this. I'm going to keep it as close to the top because we want to use as much of the yarn as we can. And I'm just going to pull it, giving ourselves a little knot like that. Now, there's so many different ways you could braid this, but I do feel like a tape method is best. I'm going to show you really quick on the wall, and then we're going to go to the table in just a second. But I like to, when I was doing
We
this
have Chicago in the house.
oh my gosh, we love Chicago. I like to take a little bit of painter's tape and then tape right on the top of the loop. And then I like to tape it right to our wall. Here's our swap out. But I like to do it here and then stand back and braid. Now I like to do that just because I find it easier if you're braiding to have it a little taut, right? Would you agree?
Agreed.
Agreed. But you could also do it on your table, which is now
What we're going to do.
going
So we can transition to the table here. And I'm just going to show you an easy braiding technique. I mean, I feel like braiding is something I learned when I was a kid. And I had very loving, supportive parents. So they let me get any type of toys I wanted. So I grew up with, you know, G.I. Joes and WrestleMania kind of figures. But I also grew up with Barbies and My Little Ponies. And troll dolls. I was a crazy troll doll kid.
I love troll dolls.
And I would braid all of these things, all of their hair. So this is such a fun little activity because I feel like it's a little bit of nostalgia. And also I feel like, you know, this takes me back to my camp days, making friendship bracelets and all of that. So once you start, you're going to start at the top of your knot there. It's almost like macrame, very easy. What you're going to do is kind of just divide it. I like to kind of vibe with the direction that the yarn is taking me in. So you'll have 2 to the side there, 2 in the center, and 2 to the other side. Actually, I'm just going to switch these because
why not?
Yeah, the yarn is telling me, I want to go over here.
I know, listen to the yarn, right? I think that's...
And then we're going to start. We're going to start with our right piece of yarn going into over the center. And what happens is we're always kind of working towards the center piece there. So now we just moved our right to the center. Now we're going to take our left into the center. And then the right into the center. And the left into the center. For this, you want to do like a loose braid.
Yeah, as we were doing it, we were kind of checking out like the different what would you call it, like tightness of the braid.
Yeah.
And if it's like a little too tight, then it almost becomes too bumpy in a sense, where we found that like the coaster didn't sit as well. Like the drink on the coaster didn't sit as well. So we thought it was best to do a nice loose braid, as you can see Dennis is doing. Also, it's a lot faster to do it that way.
Yeah, you'll get like more done, you know, and it won't take as long. You can do like a really tight small braid.
Yeah.
Which I think would kind of be
I think it'd be really nice.
Yeah, I think it either needs to be nice and tight or nice and loose. It can't be
in the
in
middle,
between. But I love this because I feel like coasters are kind of like a great beginner craft. And I feel like, you know, you always want coasters in your home.
Yes. I was also thinking, if you're gifting this, like who doesn't like a gift that's actually practical there. Thank you. Yeah, a nice practical gift to give to somebody. And I love that this is just like a fun activity to do as well, like very mindless. You can do this while you watch TV,
which I did this morning.
Absolutely. You know, if you're going to go over to a friend's house or over for a weekend, you could even buy the materials and do this craft together as an activity.
Yes, I love that. We always say like crafting is so much more about just making the projects. It's about kind of the process and also the experience. So I think this is one that you can like gather your pals around, you know, provide the materials, which is great about this is there's not a lot of materials.
Yeah.
And you all can just make one.
As you can see, it really does look like a nice loose braid. What I also like about the loose braid, it almost has like a flat feeling to it, as I was kind of saying before. So it's going to be really nice and easy to glue down. Yeah, and you just kind of keep on going. You know, Dennis was saying, what?
I was going to say, do you think this is too loose? Or
no, I don't think it's too loose. Dennis was saying he learned how to braid with his My Little Ponies.
Yes.
I grew up.
Someone must have taught me at some point.
I guess, yeah. I grew up with a sister and I would try to braid her hair all the time. I would always get confused after like the third go around. And then, you know, it's just like a crazy knot. But
yes, actually, when we were working on this craft, I had to kind of remind Andrew how to do the braiding.
I actually, once I got the hang of it, I actually braided a whole one. And I was very proud of myself. And I patted myself on the back.
Praise him. Praise him.
Thank you. I will be praised for that.
Yes, Andrew loves to kind of pat himself on the back and say,
hey, I did this. You know, as a crafter, there are some things I still haven't mastered, like sewing, braiding, and when I can do a little bit of it, why shouldn't I, right?
Yeah, and you have to be your own hype person sometimes. You got to hype yourself up.
That's right, because we have a cat, not a dog. A dog will help hype you up easily. You just like lure them into hyping you up, but a cat will just stare at you.
Right, like, you'd be like, what are you doing? Okay, and actually you can tell where you left off here because see, Andrew, I left here, so I know I gotta go here.
You know, I also thought...
Is this anybody's first time braiding or have you all done this before?
I was gonna say, I think a good tip is if you are a beginner braider, you could put little pieces of tape at the ends of your yarn.
My first time braiding, and how's it going so far?
I think you put different color pieces at the end of the pieces of yarn, and then that will help you kind of remember, and you can kind of go through the pattern of like red, blue, green, green, blue, red, blue, green. You know,
that would be a good tip too if you're a first time braider to kind of not use a multicolored pack, kind of use 3 separate colors.
Oh, even better than adding colored tape. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for providing a link of the class recording. You got it. Yes, anytime we do these classes, they come on Michael's YouTube channel about 24 to 48 hours after the class. We also have the full project on our blog, craftylumberjacks.com, where you can review the projects, the steps, you know, go over the materials, and also rewatch the classes if you're feeling so inspired.
You know, you're braiding pretty fast. I'm actually pretty surprised.
You know, this is 40 years of practice at this point. You know, I have no hair on my head, but anytime I see long hair, I'm like, let me braid it. Even on my cat.
He loves that. The cat loves that.
Oh gosh, oh gosh. For some reason, it is very warm in here today.
I know, and actually outside it's like 60 degrees. It's like the coldest summer so far, but it's hot in here.
Now we already made one of these, the long braids, so that we have a swap out. But if you're making a pair of coasters, you'll obviously want to do this twice.
Or even 4 times if you're really...
Oh yeah, or you can do a set of 4, however much you like.
I really do love coasters as a gift. I feel like people give us coasters and we never use them, but I like having them. Because
that's not true. We got coasters from
like Scotland. Yes.
That we use every Christmas.
But sometimes I feel like we'll have them on our coffee table. We won't use them, but I do feel like they're like a nice accessory. Here, do you want me to make this tighter so you can do it?
Sure. What ply yarn is that? Let's check. Medium?
Does that sound like a ply?
Very helpful to have you all guide us. Of course, that's what we're here for. And again, if you're watching, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the class. What we do is we ask a little trivia question, and then we have you send us in your answers, and you'll be randomly picked. A winner will be picked, and it's only open to the participants during the class live now. It's not when it's reposted.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so then you're going to tie it into a knot.
Yep. So
just like the top.
Yep. So I just do it around my thumb here, and then pull all the pieces through.
And I really like to have a little bit extra, and we probably will have to cut this one and retie it, but it's nice to have. But as you can see here, we did add like a little extra fringe, which just is like a little fun to have a little something on the.
Yeah, I think that's such a cute little touch.
All right, should we move on?
Yes, please.
Okay, so these coasters are actually glued on pieces of cork. Now, if you don't have cork, of course, Michaels sells these. They come in rolls, or sometimes they come in sheets, but you could use felt for this, which would work really well as well. But you do want a base to glue it on. So I really do like the cork because obviously it sticks to the table well, and it's kind of like malleable. It's nice and like, I don't know, it's not too hard, but you could also take an existing coaster you have and glue it onto your existing coaster. If you're tired of those coasters or whatever, I think that would work really well too. So,
gosh, it's so nice to see so many little crafters joining us today.
I love that. All right, so what I'm going to be doing is taking this piece of cork that we got at Michael's, and it came in a roll. I actually just ripped it, but you could cut it, and actually it really cuts really well, and you'll see that in just a minute. But I'm going to take just a pen.
And again, I'm on the chat here, so if you have any questions about this project, or if we're moving too fast, or any other questions about us, about crafting, about Fiskars, feel free to ask. Now is the time.
I guess I'm going to do two, right?
Yeah. Did you already say you could also use
felt?
Yeah, felt.
Yep. Or even maybe even like a thick piece of fabric would work. I think use what you have. All right, as you can see, this cuts such a nice clean line. I was actually I was like, I wonder how this is going to cut. Is it going to create like all this, you know, what would you call that, like pilling on the bottom? But it really doesn't. It's a nice clean cut. Now, when I cut circles,
what is this material called?
This is cork. It's a cork sheet. When I cut a circle, what I like to do, this is my number one tip when I'm cutting a circle, is move the material, not the scissors. So you're opening and closing the scissors with your hand, but the scissors are staying stagnant. I'm not turning the scissors, I'm turning the material. That helps you get a nice rounded edge. Take your time with it and follow the cut line. And you can see how easily this cork cuts. It's really nice with these sharp scissors. But I will say, even like kid scissors, Fiskars kid scissors would cut through this just as well. That's what we love about Fiskars scissors. Okay, here we have one. Now I'm going to cut the other. Also, another good tip is when you're cutting out a shape from a big piece, cut down that piece. Cut it down, just because it's so much easier to cut something when you're not dealing with excess material. So then you're going to take the cork and turn the cork instead of the scissors.
And just shout out to these cork sheets. We've used this in so many different random projects.
I know.
We've done a vase out of this one.
Yeah.
And it was great because you can actually use it as like a bulletin board.
That was cute. I forgot we did that.
It was so cute.
And we made a bulletin board once.
And we made a bulletin board out of this that was in the shape of a cactus.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, and it was for the fridge.
That's right.
We
we cut it out.
Yes, and we turned it into a cactus. And then we added magnets on it, and it was like a little cactus thing to be on the fridge.
I forgot we did that. All right, so we have our cork cut. Now this cork is a bit
flimsy.
Well, I was going to say it kind of like holds the shape. It did this when I was doing these coasters, and once you add the yarn to it, you really won't have that problem.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, it kind of looks like a taco shell at the moment. So I'm going to take our piece, and then I'm going to use hot glue for this. Now, you could use craft glue for this. I think it would be just fine. But what I like about the hot glue is that it dries quickly, so you're not dealing with things popping up and
Yeah,
stuff.
we're actually going to do that on our silicone mat,
That's right.
which will be part of our giveaway too. We use this a lot for the other surfaces. It's good when you're painting, when you're gluing, when you're crafting, just because it cleans up really nicely, really easily. And we'll actually be throwing this in with the giveaway as well today.
And speaking of throwing in, you could actually throw this like right into your dishwasher.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's like it really does wash so easily. I hand wash this.
I was shocked when you said that because I was going to say we don't have a dishwasher.
No, but
so I was like, wait, can you?
But it like everything comes off of this so easily, like hot glue. It's so great. You know, when you add a glue, when you're working with a glue gun and you put it to the table and it sticks to the table, and sometimes it leaves like a teeny little mark. That's why we love this. No marks. We've painted on this. We painted on this last week. You can't see anything. We just love our silicone mat.
Our little mat.
Our little mat. All right. So before we add our braided piece, I want to cut off this access loop. Remember, this was like the first loop we made with our fingers. I'm going to cut that off. Go get some light over here, and I'm going to cut it right to the edge. You don't need that piece. And then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to push it down. You'd be surprised. You can actually really flatten the knot, because right now it's kind of bulky. So I'm just taking my finger and I'm flattening it down. That's just going to help when we put our glass on the coaster for it not to feel like it's rocking back and forth. So you can even kind of twist your fingers back and forth. Yeah, squish it. All right. And then you want to make sure that all of your braided piece is like lying the same way. You don't want it to be twisted. I think it's easier to kind of do this first and then kind of having to twist as you go. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, like setting it up.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to look for the center of this the best I can. When I was doing this the first time, I wasn't that good at it, but I think that looks like the best. Now, when you're working with hot glue, it is strong, and I think a little goes a long way, so you really don't need to overdo it. You don't want a lot of glue to be popping up through the yarn, because you don't want to see that. If that does happen, a great tip is use the scissors and just try to trim that hot glue off, but we're hopefully not going to get that. Okay, so as you can see, it's on nice. It's on nicely. And then I'm going to go in sections. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going in a spiraled motion, or yeah, spiraled motion, spiraled. Yeah. So
and just as you were keeping it as flat as you can, the braid as flat as you can.
So I'm going to add a little glue.
And I noticed you did like the curve side up.
I did
do that on purpose? Or?
I did, just because I thought it would kind of hold it better. It would hold the
right. Because then yes,
when you put the weight on it, it'll flatten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so really a little goes a long way. You don't want the
as you're doing this, I have in my head, why are there so many songs about rainbows? We can only sing 7 seconds of that, or else we'll have to pay the royalties.
Oh yes, we cannot afford those royalties.
Yes.
So when I'm doing this, I'm just really paying attention to where the yarn is falling and pressing it down. Now, I love this tip that I came up with randomly.
Wow, just now? Or
no,
before
when I was doing it. I was burning my fingers a little bit on this, and I was like, ooh, what could I use? And I thought, why not the handle of the scissors?
Yeah.
So I like to just kind of like reinforce it while the glue is hot, and just like press it down.
Love that.
You know, I love when you can use like a tool in more ways than one.
Yes, of course.
So already you can see like how nice this is already looking.
I love this too, that it already comes kind of like this rainbow pattern.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy. You don't have to think about it. It just kind of does an all natural organic effect. It's very cute.
There we go. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just press it.
Yeah, and I think if you joined on late for the class, Andrew mentioned if you can't do the braid, you can do the same technique here, but just do a twist.
Yeah, just
right,
twist
just kind of
the
twist
yarn.
it.
You can even do like 2 pieces of yarn and just twist it. I would say probably for that, you'd want to twist it pretty tight, just so it doesn't unravel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got a tip here from D.
All right.
Popsicle sticks work good too for pressing down hot glue.
Oh,
things.
I love that.
Yes.
And they also sell like those
rubber
like
finger
protectors.
Yes.
We bought them, but we never can find them when we're crafting, so we rarely use them. Do you ever find that?
Yes, and I have no feelings in my fingertips anymore, so I usually just burn my fingers, and it's fine, you know. But of course, safety first.
Yes. All right, so I'm going around and I'm whispering as I'm doing it because that means I'm really focusing. Do you ever do that? I feel like I either have my tongue out or I'm whispering or I'm singing.
Yes.
And I really love this. I really do feel like you don't see the braid as much in the center, but as you go like out further, you start to see the braid. And it doesn't, to me, it doesn't read as a braid, even like looking at
I'm almost
this.
getting like a flower vibe. I feel like you can turn these into like a bouquet of flowers.
Oh my gosh, that would be really pretty. I also think this would be really pretty with like macrame, and it would give like a very nautical
look. Oh yes, for like a summer beach house or something like that, or even just like beach. Like that kind of like macrame roping, like the white, like kind of nautical.
I think that would be really cute. And it would, you know, I know you can like macrame and crochet coasters, but again, this is just a different way to do it, which I think is easier, but you know.
Sometimes Andrew's easy is very challenging.
I'll take that as a compliment, I think.
Anybody going on summer vacations or have big plans for the summer? Andrew and I are actually working on a show out on Long Island. That's kind of a musical, a Broadway musical. And that's ending this weekend. So after that, we're kind of like, what are we going to do now?
We've been working on it since
February.
Oh my gosh. Oops. Now, as you can see, I'm getting towards the edge, and you can see it wasn't perfectly in the center because I have less here and more here, but that's okay. If it goes over the edge, I would not worry at all. And you can also trim your cork. Another tip is the more you pull on the yarn as you go, the thinner the yarn is going to be. And I kind of think you get the hang of it as you go. Like any craft, I feel like once you start doing it, you're like, oh, this works, this doesn't.
Yes. So this is where it would be good to do a set of 4, because by the last coaster, you've mastered the technique. And then
you give the ugly ones to people you don't really love.
Yes.
And you no, I'm just kidding. I really do think these are so forgiving, like no matter.
Yeah, that looks so cute.
No matter like if you're pinpointing little things that you don't find right with it, when you finish, you're like, oh my gosh, actually that's really cute. Okay, so you see it's twisted here, so I just want to really make sure that I'm keeping that nice and untwisted.
We have a question. Do you need to use all of the yarn?
No. In fact, we have a lot of yarn left, and that's okay. I mean, we probably could cut this and I don't know. I mean, you could make like a bookmark. I was going to say,
bookmark.
I think you could start a new one, but I don't think it's like big enough.
A little keychain.
So that was a great question because I'm actually getting to the end, and you see I have just a little bit of this left. So I'm going to go right to here, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm going to press it down. I'm going to do this with my fingers, and let's flip this over and let's see. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. This looks perfect. From the front, you don't see any of the cork, which I think is great. If you do, actually, I see a little bit of cord right here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to trim it using my scissors. Just going to trim a little, really being careful I don't cut any of the yarn itself. But there. Perfect.
Very cute.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut it about 3 to 4 inches. And then tie it off just like Dennis did before with my finger in the middle. I want to make sure I get all the little pieces though. I see one little teal piece. Here we go. Hi, everybody. And then I'm just going to pull the knot as tight as I can.
You want to do that on camera?
Yeah, but I feel like I'm on. Will you switch down to the top down?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hi. Okay, so I just want this nice and tight, and I like that it hangs off it. If you want, you can glue it right to there, but I kind of like that it hangs off of it. And
Yeah,
then you
so
have
cute.
this.
Boho
I think it's
sheet.
a little bit too long, so I'm just going to cut it like that.
Very cute. Are you going to do the other?
Should I do the next one? I'm going to do
Yeah,
it, but I'm going to do it a little faster.
Yeah, do it fast.
Okay. Is this a speed test?
This is a speed test.
Okay, I'm going to use Dennis's Lucy
LaDuca.
Lucy LaDuca.
Tassel coaster. Yeah.
Oh, coasters. Does anyone have any questions or anything I can kind of explain as I'm doing this next one? This will be a speed round. So I'm cutting off the loop at the top as close as I can to the knot. I'm squeezing the knot so it's nice and flattened. And then I am eyeballing the center, adding a little bit of glue.
A little dab will do, yeah.
Pressing that knot in using my scissors to help me.
I like the flexibility with the cork backing.
I know, isn't that nice? Oh, and is this the one I just made?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but it is flat. Look how flat that is. I love that.
Yes, here I have a glass of water here. We can
Try it.
We can model it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that.
Look at that. It's like a little rug. I think that's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know
like
if you
a
can
little
see
one.
like inside, but
I was
that's
actually
so
thinking
cute. I
that
love
you
that.
can do this like kind of like as wall art. Like you can create something on a canvas or something and kind of use this as like
bigger even.
yeah, like bigger.
Oh, I think that'd be so cute. And you know what? I don't think it would be that much more time consuming.
Oh, we got a suggestion / tip /
Okay, I want to
way
hear it.
to evolve this project.
Oh my gosh.
Sandy said, add a few beads to the tassel for added bling.
Oh,
Okay.
Sandy, I
Love that.
tip. Where were you when I was considering?
And then honestly, if you do like bells or something, you could turn it into a cat toy.
Oh yeah. Cat toy. Take all your time.
Teddy actually was helping me when I was braiding it this morning.
I know. Okay, I do think the center part is the most trickiest part. And then you go around.
I still see like a flower.
Yeah,
Like
it
these
is.
would look so cute as like little like braided rainbow flowers.
I was thinking flowers, maybe daisies. Does anyone know where that's from?
To brighten up the room.
It's on Broadway right now.
It's on the Broadway. So does one string that you make equal to 2 coasters? I think it depends on the length of the string.
I think so too.
I think we could have with this other one that we had that we just cut.
I think we could have basically made it.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the size and the length, all of that.
Okay, going a little faster, pulling it tighter. Pressing it down. I have to say that this was a much looser braid than this one, and it gives it a completely different look. This one has almost like a very tie-dyed look, which I kind of like. It's much like this one definitely looks more braided. So I think if you want a more braided look, go a little tighter than what we showed you. But I kind of love seeing like the contrast, and I love when like coasters are different in general. Like when you get a pack of 4 coasters and they're all very different.
Right, especially
I think that's like really fun. So
coasters. You know, we got to think about the next great home good that we can make a fortune on. Like, who was the person that thought of coasters?
yes, it's like that Seinfeld episode where they make like the coffee table book. That's a coffee table.
Oh, yes, yes.
Remember
yes.
that one? Like,
right,
yeah.
we need to do that.
Yes.
And it's like, everybody needs this.
Right, yes.
We'll get there one day. Very cute. Probably the person that saw water rings on their furniture.
Yes.
In colonial times.
Okay, I'm getting to the edge, so I'm just going right to the edge, and I'm pressing it down.
Very nice. Very pretty. Now we actually will have a set of 4.
Oh my gosh. I like to just press it too. I don't know why. Okay, this is the end. And we were so close to the knot, I think I'm just going to use it. Yes, actually, this worked perfectly. So we had the knot in here already. If you have to cut yours down, just cut it, add a knot, and then keep some of the tassels. Let me make sure this is nice and glued. That is so cute. And then I'm just going to trim this. Like that. And I do see that I have a little bit of cork. Do I have time to cut it? I think I do, right?
How many feet of thread did the last one take?
That took, ooh, this one was 2, it was an arm's length for me, which is, I guess, about 6 feet. And then I folded the arm's length in half.
So 3 feet.
So about 3 feet if you don't fold it in half.
But it was 6, 12, 18 feet altogether, right?
Yeah, so 6 feet. 6.
Math is not our strong
I'm going to
point.
say this so everyone can hear, or like kind of clearly. 3 pieces, all 6 feet in length, folded in half.
There you go.
Woo!
I don't get it.
Okay, wait. I do want to ask everybody, like, which was the one I just made? I think it was this one.
This one.
And this one?
Yeah.
Which do you like better? This is a much looser
that's really looking great.
braided
Love it.
piece, and this is a tighter braided piece. Do you like the looser or the tighter look? I'm just curious. I really can't tell.
Tighter braid for me. I like the tighter one.
I think they both are very charming.
We just wanted to show also part of our giveaway. We're going to be giving away the Fiskars punch tag thing. We love this so much. We tend to use this a lot during the holidays, but I think it's a great little thing if you have an Etsy shop, if you're a small business maker, because it just kind of elevates your projects and makes it look professional. This is actually the one that comes with the little grommets.
I have to say, we got this last year right before the holidays, and I was really shocked. We've had other ones like from years and years ago, and they were kind of flimsy and they stopped working after a while. This is heavy duty. It feels really great. And we used, I think we made like 50 punches last year. It still works just as well. I do love this. I do think if you're a small business, or if you like to give gifts with a handmade touch, this is like such a great gift. So we're going to be doing a nice rainbow look. Now, our tip is, before you punch it, draw something out bigger than the punch. You could even do the whole paper.
Which way am I going? Or I guess I'll just kind of, yeah.
You could even do the whole paper and then punch out all around. I think that would work too. But just drawing bigger than the actual punch kind of gets all the It's just the corners look nicer, I think, personally. But you can do it however you want.
Should I go? I'm gonna go back over here.
There's no wrong way to do it.
Mike, is that gonna fill up the punch there?
Well, we will see.
We will see. All right, I love this thing so much.
You could even flip it. Yeah, that's fine.
So, and this is great also if you're doing a garage sale or of course for gifting.
Oh, like a garage sale, so you can tag everything.
Yeah, you tag
oh,
everything.
Gosh, that would be such a thoughtful garage sale.
Right? Yeah,
I love that.
So cute.
Very cute.
And then of course you have this little part here where you put it in to get the whole punch. Adorable. So cute. And then of course it also comes with these little grommets. I'm not going to do that today, but you do that in the back here.
Yeah, so if you want to make it even fancier, you can
Yes,
add
like
the
very
grommets to
professional
it.
looking. If you're selling something, or again, you're giving a gift, that's what we were originally doing with these coasters. We were doing it for like a little cute little pride summary thing.
And I think the tip is like draw your base drawing first, then cut it out, and then add your saying so you can keep it all centered to the tag. Dennis has better handwriting, so whenever we have to do anything that involves handwriting, I'm like, you do it.
Yeah. All right, I think we're kind of towards the end of the class here. We can bring up the camera to the front camera. We'll go over the giveaway, ask the question, remind you of how, yes, if you made this along with us, we'd love to see it.
Yes. Did anyone make anything today while we were crafting? Even if it was something else, you know, sometimes when I'm watching other people craft, I just like to keep busy. So if you were making something else, we would love to spotlight you and see it. If that's possible.
Oh my gosh, I kind of see it. Were you working with clay today?
Oh my gosh.
Is that a little snail?
I love that. That looks like fun. I've been watching you watch the class. I love that. Well, if you are still working on your project or you make this project, share it with us and use the hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels so they can see it as well.
Yes, and another reminder, we're going to be making this little felt wilderness banner on July 25th. So cute.
Now, you can do this with felt, or you can come to the class with just some scrap paper and pretty much do the same project.
Yes, in today's giveaway, you are getting...
Okay, you are getting...
the Fiskars Silicone Mat.
Yes, you're getting the punch, this great punch, and you're getting
the lilac
scissors, which love them. So should we go over our question? I just wanted to show you, I tied all this up. Look how cute. I mean, it's very quick, but I think it looks pretty
so cute. Today, June 22nd, marks the anniversary, and we're going to ask you to send these questions, either slide into our DMs, Crafty Lumberjacks across the board, or you can email us your answers, craftylumberjacks@gmail.com. We will reach out if you're the winner.
Yes.
Again, this is only open to participants watching the class today, right now.
That's you.
And the question is July 22nd.
No,
June 22nd. I can't keep up anymore. June 22nd marks the anniversary of a death of a famous gay icon who iconically sung a song about rainbows.
Yes.
Send us your answers. Everybody get the question?
You can Google it. So it's
Yeah,
the
of course you can
anniversary of
Google it.
someone who passed away who sang a very famous song about rainbows. Let us know. Even if you don't get the question right, you will still be entered in the giveaway. So don't let that deter you.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining
this was
today.
a lot of fun.
We hope to see you at our next class. Happy summer and have a great day.
Bye, everyone.